Good morning. Today I'm in the beautiful town of Jasper, Georgia. My family and I have rented a cabin in the area, and I made the drive here to see something of great importance. This is one of two stops I'm going to be making this morning. Why is it important to us hikers, and why have I come here? Why am I here? Well, to us hikers and lovers of the AT, this area is important. And these locations hold some historical value. I'll give you more info when I get there. Stay tuned. Welcome back. So like I said, I'm visiting the town of Jasper in Pickens County, Georgia, to visit the James Oglethorpe Monument. This monument is located in downtown Jasper. Without getting all historical for you, James Oglethorpe is of importance and has this monument named after him because he is the founder of the colony of Georgia, which was granted its charter in 1732. He personally came here and led the colonization of the area and founded the city of Savannah. There is a monument to him there as well. This monument has been here since 2001. The monument itself is 38 feet tall and made of local Cherokee marble. While the monument is here in Jasper, originally it was located about 10 miles on the summit of Mount Oglethorpe, a name which you now know. And from 1930 till 1999, this monument was located at the summit of Mount Oglethorpe. And why is it of interest to us hikers? Because from 1930 until 1958, this monument and Mount Oglethorpe was the southern terminus of the AT. So the AT began in Mount Oglethorpe and with this monument. So when many of the early and famous hikers like Grandma Gatewood and Earl Schaefer started their hike on the AT, it was from this monument and Mount Oglethorpe that they did it. Not Springer Mountain that we're used to. So the monument is relocated here in 2001 after a 2-year renovation project, basically to repair it from damage to the environment and some vandalism. So it was moved here from Mount Oglethorpe. I just thought since I was in the area, I would come to visit it. And here's the plaque that So in 1999, the monument was moved from the top of Mount Oglethorpe, which was the start of the Appalachian Trail. Mount Oglethorpe is 3,288 feet tall and is the tallest mountain in Pickens County. And without getting into a lot of history and politics, Mount Oglethorpe was chosen as the start of the AT due to a lot of politicking and pushing and money that was spent in the expectation to be able to make money off of the Appalachian Trail starting at Mount Oglethorpe. Unfortunately, that never really happened. Being that Mount Oglethorpe was on private land and was bordered by private land, since the AT started in the early 40s to the beginning of the 50s, 1950 that is, the land around it began being developed and was encroaching onto the trail. So the early trail leaders realized this was a problem and began searching for a new location to start the trail. And in the late 1950s, after 1958, the decision was finally made to move the start of the Appalachian Trail to Springer Mountain, which at that point was just another mountain on the trail, which lies only about 10 to 12 miles to the northeast, but trail-wise was about a 20-mile track. The land around Mount Oglethorpe, since it was private, continued to be developed, and eventually even Mount Oglethorpe itself, with the mountain, was sold to a private owner, which put the mountain off limits to hikers and anyone that wanted to visit because it was private property. Enter an unlikely hero, Ken Rice. Ken Rice was a native son of Georgia, and while playing football and after became a real estate developer and became interested and lived in the area. Eventually, he purchased Mount Oglethorpe. Ken, along with his wife, purchased Mount Oglethorpe in 1995. In 2014, they decided to open the land back up to the public. This was the first time in many years that the public was able to visit Mount Oglethorpe. In fact, they left it as a park now for everyone to enjoy. And it's a park called Eagles Ridge. Family and I visited Eagle Ridge. And while I wanted to do the Mount Oglethorpe Trail, which is listed as a 1.7 to 2 mile strenuous trail, I convinced them though to do the 0.5 Eagle Ridge Trail, which we did complete. And I'll now show you a brief time lapse of that hike. Another reason why I wanted to cover this was because while I have hiked the beginning of the AT 2 times, I have never hiked that portion of the original AT from Mount Oglethorpe that still remains. And this portion of the trail is a result of the 1958 relocation of the southern terminus to Springer Mountain. So while I'm up in this area this week, I'm hoping to do just that. The weather has not been cooperating. It's been raining most of the day. It's in the 50s. And also, unfortunately, I got sick and was kind of laid up for about 2 days. But I'm hoping tomorrow, if I'm feeling well enough and the weather is supposed to clear up, then I'm going to try and do just that. That portion of the trail that I've never done and is the only real section remaining from the original AT prior to 1958 of any length that's still available to be hiked. And that section is the portion, part of the portion that used to go from Mount Oglethorpe to Springer Mountain. Since the majority of the original portion of the AT was on private lands, it's unfortunately been developed and has been lost. But one section still remains. And that section, because it was on a park and not private land, was not developed and remains intact for us to hike today. Where is it? Where is this trail, you ask? Well, it's a part of the trail that we all know and is often debated among AT hikers on whether or not you need to do it or not do it. It's the AT Approach Trail. The AT Approach Trail is the remnants of the original AT trail that led from Oglethorpe continuing on to Maine, which makes sense when you think about it. Why would they build an approach trail that comes in one side of the mountain and then continues on the other toward the rest of the Appalachian Trail? And that's because originally it was all just the Appalachian Trail. So if everything lines up, I hope to hike from the falls to Springer Mountain and then back down to the falls. Now I realize that the stairs have been damaged due to debris from, I think, Hurricane Zeta, which hit earlier this year, last year, and they have not been repaired. So it's impossible for you to do the stairs in its entirety. But there is alternate trails where you can stop at the top of the falls and hike up to Springer and then back down to the falls. So I'm hoping to do that tomorrow. So instead of doing the 17.6 mile trail, I may in fact end up doing more like a 16.6 mile trail. But we'll see what happens. With that being said, I'm hoping to hike that trail this week if my body and the weather hold up. I want to thank you so much for joining me and watching this video. If you like what I'm doing, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel, and as always, please leave a comment below, good, bad, or otherwise.